Well, the return of Hot Sauce Takes is back. If you don't know what Hot Sauce Takes is, it's where I take you, the viewer, your hottest takes, and give you my reaction in a video. I give my reactions to about 4 or 5 takes and give you my thoughts about why they're right or why they're wrong. Pretty much on the weekend, I make a community post like you see on your screen that you can comment your takes and potentially be in a video. Before we start, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel as it further motivates me to make more videos like this. So that being said, let's get right into it. The first take we're going to be looking at comes to us from Jose, and he says, Isaiah Thomas will be a 20-point per game scorer this year and be in contention for the 6th man of the year. Isaiah Thomas has had one of the most impressive yet tragic careers in modern history. At only 5'9", IT was always counted out, but worked his way up to the top. With the Celtics, IT was a legit MVP candidate, almost averaging 30 points a game. But injuries derailed his career, pretty much just hurting that MVP candidate to someone who wasn't even signed in the NBA. Recently, IT signed with the Lakers on a 10-day contract and has looked quite impressive. He's getting to his spots and averaging 11 points per game right now. However, it's very unlikely that Isaiah averages 20 points per game. He isn't the same athletically as he is with the Celtics, nor is his jump shot as good, but he's still also really bad on defense. But as just a 10-day contract, I think Isaiah Thomas is definitely a good pickup. He will provide a spark off the bench and is still a good addition, but he's just not good enough to average 20 points a game. Especially when this team gets healthy, his role is going to become smaller, and yes, he might get some 10-15 minutes off the bench if he's signed for the rest of the season, but I think this take goes a little bit too far. And yes, like I said, he's definitely a good scorer off the bench that if the Lakers are in a slump, you can throw an IT, but 20 point per game scorer, I think that's a little bit too far. The next take we're going to be looking at comes to us from No Channel, and he says, Damian Lillard is being bad on purpose so they can get a star to pair up with him. You can read the whole take on your screen. This year, Dame has been quite inconsistent, with him starting off slow in the beginning of the year, then looking like himself later on, then getting injured, and recently has been very impressive in the last couple of games. However, the Blazers stand at 13 wins and 19 losses, which is tied with the Spurs and the Kings, and that's not what you want to be a playoff contender. Everyone knows that the Blazers need to blow it up. The front office refuses to do anything. Everyone knows that they have to trade CJ because Dame and CJ isn't really a pairing you want to make a championship run. They have to improve their defense, but they're just not doing it. This take seems logical to put pressure on the front office, but Dame has been dealing with injuries recently. His first step has been way slower, and he just doesn't really seem fully healthy. Additionally, Dame has expressed his loyalty to Portland, and doesn't seem like a guy who would just fake being bad, and that's just not something Dame would do. The Blazers definitely need to shake it up, or they can risk losing Dame, and I'm sure that Dame is one of the only stars that stays loyal to a small market, and they have to do whatever it takes to build around him, whether that's trading their first round picks, whether that's making a risky move. But the Blazers have just been so hesitant to make that blockbuster move to make Dame happy, and sooner or later Dame is going to want that championship, and maybe he's going to request a trade. He's already shown frustrations with this franchise, and they're just not doing anything. They only changed their coach, which I can't even say is an upgrade. But this Portland team, hopefully they realize that this team isn't good enough to make a championship run or even the playoffs. So hopefully they blow it up soon. And I really want to see Dame just be a championship contender. Hopefully he can become healthy again. Hopefully he can get like a Ben Simmons, a Jeremy Grant type player on his team, which I think would be perfect for this Blazers team. But I definitely think there needs to be more pressure on the Blazers front office. Now the next take we're going to be looking at comes to us from Phoenix Crusader, and he says, this year, Nikola Jokic has been playing like the best player in the entire NBA. After coming off winning the MVP award, no one expected Jokic to be even better. He is a plus 12.4 when on the court, and the Nuggets are currently 27 points better per 100 possessions with Jokic on the court, which is the biggest differential in the entire NBA. Even without Murray and Michael Porter Jr. due to injuries, Jokic has been willing this Nuggets team to victories. With Jokic on the court, the Nuggets would be second in offense and second in defense, but dead last in both offense and defense when Jokic is off the floor. He's taken strides on both ends and has really proven that he can lead a team to a championship, and of course, he can, even with a bad team, he's proven that he can lead them to wins. And I think that Jokic, no doubt, has a legit case for being the best in the world. You have players like Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Giannis, and LeBron James, who have also been amazing, who also have good cases. Jokic has definitely a case for sure, but I would personally put Curry and KD and probably Giannis over him, but over the last couple years, he's shown so much improvement from being like 2 years ago like the 10th best player to last year being like the 6th best player, and now pretty much a top 4, top 3 player. That's super impressive, and Jokic is no doubt a generational talent. His passing is so good. His rebounding has been better. His defense, I think he's averaging like a steal a game and almost a block a game, which from Nikola Jokic you wouldn't expect. His shooting, his jump shot looks so weird, but he's unstoppable. He's probably the best post player in the NBA with his combination of finesse, pure power that pretty much can't be stopped by anyone. He's just so good. It's crazy, like he was a second round pick. Nobody expected him to be this good, but when fully healthy, I think this Nuggets team can no doubt be really scary and might fight for an NBA championship in the future. And finally, the last take we're going to be looking at says that the three best NBA players are Kevin Durant, Nikola Jokic, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. The NBA right now is loaded with talent, with there being so many all-star caliber players. But of course, there's always going to be people over the rest. Right now, like I said before, the top 5 players are, in no order, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Giannis, LeBron, and Jokic. Each have proven they can put up monster numbers and lead their team to deep playoff runs. In my opinion, my top 3 is Curry, KD, and Giannis, with Jokic and LeBron on the outside looking in. The placements can definitely change, especially in the playoffs, but they're all generational talents. Curry has proven that he is just so good. His gravity is amazing. He's the best shooter in the world, best shooter of all time. His defense has improved. And Curry, I think, definitely has the strongest case to be the best player in the NBA. You, of course, have Kevin Durant, probably the best offensive player or the most unstoppable one-on-one player. His mid-range, so clean. And yes, the Nets are kind of falling apart due to virus protocol, but when this team is fully healthy, they're, especially with Kyrie coming back, they're definitely the favorite. Giannis just won the championship, of course. He's the 2-time MVP, DPOY, proven now that he can lead a team to a championship after last year's playoff run. And Giannis just probably has a case to be the best defender in the NBA. I think he is, and he's still going to average 28, 12, 6 assists, while also locking up the opponent's best player. And then, of course, you have LeBron. I still think that LeBron, of course, isn't the same player, but it's still so impressive how a 37-year-old can dominate so well. I think in the last couple of games, he's averaging like 37 and 7, which for a 37-year-old, that's absolutely insane. And then, of course, Jokic, he's just been carrying this Nuggets team to, I think they're like the 6th or 7th seed, which if you look at this roster, you definitely wouldn't think. Like, without Jokic, they're by far the worst team in the NBA, but Jokic is pretty much carrying them so much. And yeah, I would say those top 5 players are the best in the NBA, with, of course, people like Luka, not James Harden anymore, Kawhi, Joel Embiid. Hopefully, maybe he can jump up in there soon, but I would say that those 3 players definitely have a case, but I would have Curry, KD, and Giannis as my top 3 players. So that being said, that's going to be the end of the video of Hot Sauce Takes. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on next time.